The Baltimore Orioles rotation for the 2026 season was supposed to be solved already. At least that's what everyone thought after we closed the deal with Shane Baz coming from Tampa and brought Zack Gallen back for one more year. But I was looking at the division numbers here, man, and there was something Jon Heyman dropped on MLB Network that completely changed the game. Because when you lose Corbin Burnes to Arizona without even having a chance to make a real counteroffer, when Grayson Rodriguez is still a giant question mark after the elbow injury, you can't just sit back and hope everything works out by miracle. And that's where the name that's still available on the market comes in. That guy everyone kind of forgot about because he had a horrible first half in 2025, but in the second half showed exactly why 2 years ago he almost won the National League Cy Young. We're talking about Zack Gallen. Yeah, I know the name doesn't excite at first glance. 4.83 ERA for the entire last season isn't exactly the kind of number that makes you jump out of your seat. But let me show you why Mike Elias and the Orioles front office continue to keep an eye on him. Heyman made it clear that Baltimore isn't the only interested team. Arizona wants to keep their own player. Cubs are also in the conversation. But here's the difference. The Orioles have a competitive window open now. We have Gunnar Henderson entering his prime, Adley Rutschman established as one of the league's best catchers, Jackson Holliday coming up, and we just added Pete Alonso and Taylor Ward to the lineup. Honestly, if we don't take advantage of this window, when are we going to?
So let's get to the numbers that really matter. From August 1st of last year, Zack Gallen pitched 65 innings with a 3.32 ERA. His whip during that period was 1.08. The OPS opponents had against him was 0.629. Man, these are absolute ace numbers. 175 strikeouts for the entire season show the arm still has power. The problem wasn't physical ability, it was consistency that he clearly fixed in the second half. Think with me here. In 2023, Gallen finished third in Cy Young voting. He had a 2.07 ERA in 33 starts. This guy isn't a prospect. He's a proven pitcher who had a bad year. And you know what happens with proven pitchers who have a bad year? They get cheaper. Much cheaper than they should be. Framber Valdez, who's the other big available name, will demand 5 or 6 years of contract, with an average annual value probably above $25 million. Gallen? 3 years, maybe 4. With something between 18 and 22 million per year. And look, I know there's the draft compensation issue because he received a qualifying offer. We already lost a pick in the Tampa Bay trade for Baz. Does losing another hurt? Of course it hurts. But when you look at the bigger context, when you see Toronto signing Roki Sasaki, bringing Tanner Scott, getting Anthony Santander who left us, you realize that saving a draft pick now is thinking small.
If you ask me how Gallen fits in the rotation, I'll show you exactly. Number 1 would be Grayson Rodriguez, if he comes back 100% healthy, which is still a big if. Gallen comes in as a solid number 2. That guy you start without fear in decisive games. Shane Baz stays as 3, with all the potential to move up if he continues evolving. Eflin is the reliable 4. And you still have Kyle Bradish coming back from Tommy John probably in June or July. Yeah, it's not the most dominant rotation in the league, but it's deep, it's competitive, and it has real upside. Now there's talk about risk, because every decision has risk. Gallen will turn 29 in May. He has a clean history of serious injuries, which is huge when you're talking about a 3 or 4 year investment. His profile as a ground ball pitcher who doesn't depend exclusively on velocity means he can age well. And Camden Yards, man, Camden Yards is a park that favors pitchers who know how to work the low zone. The alternative? Enter the season with a rotation composed of questionable Rodriguez, promising but unproven Baz, solid but limited Eflin, and then pray that Dean Kramer or Cade Povich can handle it. I've analyzed this rotation from every possible angle, and honestly, it won't hold up for a 162-game season plus playoffs without reinforcement. Let me show you why this makes sense from a division standpoint. The American League East is absolutely insane. Toronto had a way too aggressive offseason. Boston brought Garrett Crochet and continues with a young and dangerous rotation. Yankees will always be Yankees. And us? We have the best farm system in the league. We have young talents exploding, but we need that veteran piece that brings stability.
So back to the main point. Why does Baltimore continue to show interest in Gallen even with spring training approaching? Because the alternative is worse. Because the cost-benefit makes sense. Because the competitive window demands aggressiveness. And because, honestly, when you look at the complete market of starting pitchers available now, there's nobody better than him available for the price he'll probably accept. I'll tell you something. Teams that win World Series aren't the ones with the loudest off-seasons. They're the ones with the smartest off-seasons. And Baltimore in 2026, if we close with Gallen, add this final piece to the rotation, the story could be very different from what it was the last 2 years where we fell in the playoffs for lack of reliable veteran pitching. So tell me down here, do you sign 3 years with Gallen? Do you prefer to go after Valdez even though it costs more expensive and more years? Because this decision will define the Orioles season, and I want to know what the fan base really thinks. And if you like deep Orioles analysis, subscribe to the channel because I'll continue bringing everything without filter.